welcome to DZR, episode nothing. That's right, it's not an episode, it's the E3 special, E3 2016, coming at you. I'm Oh Gaz, and of course, with us joining today is Mr. BinaryNumb. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, sir. How are you all?
Awesome, oh, awesome, oh. It's a bit of a special podcast today, something different, something special, something E3, something awesome. And of course, to join that awesomeness is Mr. Goldenboi. How are you?
I am great, man. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited, man. Let's get this done.
Yeah! So without further ado, we'll move on to day one and EA. So first out of the gates was EA with Titanfall 2, which is set to release October 28, and that's from Respawn. And look, it's Titanfall. I've got over 100 hours with Titanfall 1. This game was incredible. It did everything right except content. Didn't have content. Looks like they got a campaign this time. Looks like they got lots of Titans this time. They had 3 last time, I think, off the top of my head. 6 Titans confirmed, new multiplayer details, a campaign, a deep progression system, a grapple hook where you can grapple other players mid-air and use that grapple whilst you're transferring across the world. I'm pretty excited. Did you guys see the trailer?
I did. I thought it was... I didn't play Titanfall the first time, but I wish I would had.
Yeah.
You know, the fact of the mech situation and being able to get out and fight after that and being able to run against walls was always appealing to me.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to Titanfall 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am too. Yeah.
The whole problem before, right, was that it wasn't on PS4, was it? Like, it wasn't on PS3, sorry. It was such a letdown in that regard. So, it's awesome that now everyone can get this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything to add, Binary?
Cool. Well, actually, yeah, it looks like I quite like the whole story development. Actually,
Yeah.
that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Good mental connection with your Titan.
Yep, I got a bit of a Halo feel, seeing some of those enemies and different enemy types, small enemies, large enemies. Like, that sounds pretty sweet to me.
Almost like an Avatar feel. You know, almost like
yes.
Yeah, you know, almost like a, hey, we're going somewhere, and you know, it feels like your mech is a living thing. It has it has an operative. It has something that a directive almost. And what I thought was really cool was at the end when it was like, I think it said its first order, or you know, whatever order it was to protect its operator. That made it more organic for me. You know, and the fact that it had a storyline is pretty amazing. So it gives that mech, it gives your mech that you choose and you build a lot of personality.
Yeah. So beyond Titanfall 2, we saw EA launch some sports events. They talked a lot to esports. Yeah, they seem to be harnessing the competitive nature of their EA Sports lineup, which is, you know, obviously makes sense for their model. Did you guys have much to see? Did you guys see some of the cross references between London and New York? Was that something that worked in terms of the conference for you?
Yeah, so the actual events, there are 3 new events they're launching, aren't they, which are public attended events.
Right, okay.
The interesting one is, was it EA Majors?
Yeah.
Where it's up to, I think, $1 million in prize funds.
Hello.
With
That's
hello money,
crazy.
right?
So yeah, I think esports is definitely going to be taking off over the next year.
Well,
there's 16-year-olds who are millionaires already because of it.
Well, I think they did the same thing with Madden. I think they're doing the whole thing. It's like you play an entire year through a competition, and then at the end of it, if you're at the end, if you win, it's $1 million. Me personally, I'm not that good, and I don't have a year to put away to maybe I'm that good.
Oh, what was the guy called? Something Mo? Soft Mo?
No.
Oh, there's the 2 guys that was in the actual BT. They're playing off each other during E3, and one of the guys turned up with a broken collarbone.
So one of the things that they mentioned there was the EA Play to Give. Sounds like a bit of charity stuff they're working on. So, I mean, to be fair, I don't know. I think EA spent... I mean, when I talk about this sports stuff, they spent a lot of time, I would say a good 50 to 60% of their time talking about Madden, FIFA, and the sports scenario, which is cool. Obviously, I get that's EA. But the more and more I thought about it, the less I felt there was, you know, a big amount of content coming out of the EA conference, at least compared to what we're going to be seeing probably in the next day or two.
Yeah, I think so. I think EA is they're in a creative lull, and they're slightly relying on their
their current works, which is clearly Madden, FIFA, and even Star Wars, right? Which is a slight segue into the new Star Wars. But
Yeah.
FIFA and Madden carry EA, right?
I always said once to a friend, I thought Mass Effect was like the greatest conversion of Star Wars into an RPG system. And Binary, you're a big fan of Mass Effect, right?
I do like Mass Effect a lot. Yeah, so I am genuinely excited. From the footage, I think it's going to be massive. It would have been nice to see a bit more gameplay, but
It's due in Q1 2017, so it wasn't a lot of gameplay. Did you feel that? I mean, there was some. A lot of it was interspersed with footage from space exploration, which they had in their announced trailer 6 months ago.
yeah.
So I was a bit kind of, maybe I wanted to see more.
It was gameplay footage, but it wasn't engine created, was it? It was all pre-recorded stuff. So I'd
Yeah, it was.
prefer to see the engine created recording.
Yeah,
Which is what that's what you should expect, right?
yeah. I mean, it's good to see. I mean, it's on the Frostbite engine. We know that tends to be obviously EA's way, and certainly BioWare using that is awesome. Cross-platform, of course, which is cool. We know that everyone's going to be getting this game, not like the first Mass Effect, which was limited. I saw a spaceship there, which reminded me of the old Normandy, which is pretty cool. I don't think it was a Normandy, of course. It's a different story. But and there's the Mako. We saw the Mako, right? We saw a vehicle make its way across the moon. Yes.
For me, is there a multiplayer? Are they going to do a PvP on that? If that happens, then it's because the first couple were awesome. There's one of my favorite games, and going back to the whole Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
You know, other than like a major motion picture and the history and everything like that, I think the lore of Mass Effect is pretty awesome. And if they take that to a whole nother galaxy and keep that going, hell, man, it should be a good time.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what their rollout is for that.
Whether it's going to be, if they're going to do like a year one DLC pack on top.
Yeah.
They didn't mention anything to do with their strategy, did they?
Yeah. Well, they flirted with multiplayer, of course, with Mass Effect 3, and that was actually, I mean, it didn't really take off. I don't think a lot of people played it as much as they'd hoped, but man, it was good fun. It was tight,
fun.
So.
The co-op was a lot of fun, man. You could level that character and and a bunch of and as you level, you would get the other characters and everything like that. So if they build off of that, I think that's a pretty winning combination.
And speaking of winning combinations, boom! It's good to score a goal in soccer and win games. Binary, FIFA.
He killed it, dude. That
was a beautiful segue.
Beautiful.
FIFA has a campaign, Binary.
It does have a campaign. Yeah, a bit more than manager mode, which is really interesting. They're running it now on the new Frostbite engine, which is previously a Madden engine, and I'd have to say Madden 17 looks beautiful. So FIFA 17, they even had Jose Mourinho on the main stage. The guy even gave him a couple of backslap comments, which is quite funny. So Jose Mourinho is definitely one of the. So he's actually just gone to Manchester United, which is a bit of a stir. But FIFA 17 looks good. There's a few new mechanics. They've improved AI. FIFA is it's one of the biggest selling sports games in the world. So they're never going to do wrong by it. So I'm genuinely looking forward to the new story mode. Actually, that's an interesting look at it. From the look of it, it's a specific player.
Yeah.
But the interaction of off-pitch and on-pitch will be an interesting mechanic. And definitely when FIFA has never really been a storytelling franchise.
I'll be interested to see what the narrative's like.
The usual FIFA launch window is usually around September, isn't it?
September, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Kick off with a new season.
Oh, there you go. So I guess we'll expect to hear more from that and Madden as it comes. But we did see a fresh logo on there, which was, if you guys saw it, EA Originals, and they brought the design, which was that curious game called was it Fee?
Faye, yeah.
Faye?
Oh no, Fee. They pronounce it Fee. F-E.
It was pronounced Fee, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. Did you guys get a glimpse of that?
Did.
Yeah.
It's an interesting indie. It was slightly nightmarish, actually. I feel like it looks like I'd be enjoyment and fear at the same time, which is exactly what they described. I've never been a big indie player, but I wouldn't mind giving it a go. I'll be interested to see what the age range is like. There's no vocals; it's all music and interaction. So there's no. They described it as, you create your own story. So I'm all for indie games like that.
Yeah.
They bring along new ideas and new creatives and new design, don't they? Which is exactly what it looked like.
I agree with Binary. I think the fact that EA is such a big company and they're dealing with AAA games, for the longest time, going out and saying, hey, let's do some new stuff, and then these guys bringing out this game that obviously the mechanics look good, the graphics look good, and the concept is great. It really opens up a whole nother world for EA, and it's definitely a positive thing. It's a creative thing, and I think that's what we're looking for. We're looking for new stuff. We're looking for original stuff, and hopefully, and I give it to them, not relying just on their AAA titles. I think that's I give it to them on that.
I didn't see a release date associated with it, but it made me think of, I guess, a bit Twilight Princess, a little bit sort of crossed with a couple of the indies from the Xbox Live early era. But interesting to see how it goes. Binary, Star Wars, of course, you mentioned you're pretty excited about, no doubt.
Oh yeah, I'm a big Star Wars fan.
I have been a Star Wars fan since the day I watched the first one.
It's just the day I left my mother's.
There you go.
Did we lose count how many of those games we saw in terms of Star Wars brand?
Well,
Hold on.
they didn't really. They didn't actually show any real game. It was more
No,
a
they
VT from the 50 different developers that they've got running on it.
Well, I know this, that Visceral is running it, and Visceral, as we all know, did, Dead Space, all right? Dead Space was one of my favorite horror games, and the way that the story they did behind it was pretty cool, going off to a place and demons and hell and all that stuff. So, imagine this. Imagine taking that gritty, dark situation and putting that into a Star Wars game, and you have a lightsaber, and you have the Force, and you're fighting, imagine like that whole world. Hopefully, they bring some of that over, and because Disney has the rights to Star Wars now, so with Visceral, hopefully they give us, the gamers, the guys that've been around for a while, a little bit of dark Star Wars, like cutting heads off, arms off, stabbing,
What Force Unleashed should have been.
Exactly. Give us a dark Star Wars. Give us a dark Maul that was bad. Like horns coming out and ripping shit up. Like that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's impressive. You got Motive Studios, you've got DICE, you've got Criterion, you've got Visceral and Respawn, all in some way engaged with these titles, right? And the strange part was that if you really look at it, it really became not a 2016 show. It really became a this is EA's 2017-2018 lineup.
Yes, sir. You are the man. I agree.
This kind of deflated me a little bit because I was excited, but then I was like, I saw 3 seconds of Visceral's game, so it's clearly way out in terms of development, and we know that, of course, the other stuff. The Respawn game is just really on the design stage right now. It's doesn't even have any assets, I think, to it. So it was exciting, but also a little bit deflating at the same time. Being a big fan of the movies.
Yeah, agreed.
Absolutely, yeah. And I agree with that. We'll talk about EA at the end, but yeah, I agree with you. They're telling us about games that they don't even have close to being done yet.
And they spend a lot of time talking about Battlefront, but from Battlefront to Battlefield, Battlefield 1 is Goldenboi's game. He seemed pretty excited. I heard.
Give me a shotgun and a shovel. Give me some trench warfare. Give me shooting pellets in a dude's face. I'm all about it, man. I gotta tell you, I saw the whole footage. I saw, it was really cool what they did in bringing those guys, all the celebrities in. You know what? Between, me and, whoever, I really don't give a shit about the celebrities, but I thought that was really cool how they wanted to come in, and not only did they come in, they played with some top players and from past Battlefield games, and here's the thing, dude. Let's think about this thing. Battlefield said, you know what? We're gonna put it out, and we're gonna let other people play it. We're gonna let these huge people that can put on social media, whether or not they like it. That's how confident they are that this game is going to be amazing. I have to tell you that me played a lot of games. I played a little bit of Battlefield, and I've had a lot of fun with it. But this one right now, as of now, is my most anticipated game as we speak. As of now, it's gonna be awesome. 32 v 32. I can get in a tank. I can level that tank. I can level my guy. I can get in planes. Bring it on.
You can get into a blimp. Do you want a blimp?
A blimp. Give me a Zeppelin. Give me a Zeppelin. Hey, I'll come over there, dude. I'm coming. I'm coming to see you guys, bro. And let me tell you something. If I'm going down, I'm bringing that Zeppelin down with me, bro. And I'm coming.
So East Coast to Australia. So I'll see you in about 348 days. All right.
I'll see you there, brother. I'm coming.
Dear Brian, do you have any comments to add to that last one?
Releasing live gameplay was really important. And just seeing the maps, the mechanics, the destructive map.
You saw more of those details, right? You actually saw the lengthy gameplay trailer afterwards.
Yeah, so I watched the whole hour of it. They played 3 games, and as the Germans won all 3. But it was incredible. Yeah, you got to see, there's some really cool mechanics in there. You've got so many different weapon types, but the interesting bit is the maps. So the maps are fully destructible and change. So you can drive through walls, you can drive through buildings, you can charge through doors. There's weather. It looks incredible. It definitely is where first-person multiplayer shooters should be going. And it's World War One, right? It was a brutal period in time where technology was just starting to come about, right? And these the interesting thing about the tanks is they have multi-damage points, right? So you can choose to take out the doors, you can choose to take out the tracks, you can choose to, loads. Genuinely excited about it.
I'm pretty pumped. I mean, I love the era, I love the period. World War One in particular was pretty gritty. Most of it was spent in trenches, and it was nasty. It looks like what they've done is taken all the action high points from World War One and just mashed it all together. And because logically there was very little of those, it was atrocious. But it's good to see them, just play with the idea and bring a game that you want to play. This is the problem I think with World War One. It hasn't been in games because people just didn't know how to make it exciting and something that you want to be engaged in. So this might be the ticket. But look, there's a lot of games of EA. It's been a pretty impressive conference in terms of their what they've talked about. But I think as we touched on a little bit earlier, they talked a lot about things and maybe not weren't able to show as much because a lot of these things felt like they were 17, 18 releases. But I was a little bit underwhelmed, I think, overall. What do you guys say as our closing comments?
All right. The whole thing, other than the 2 I'm really looking for is the Mass Effect Andromeda and Battlefield 1, and of course Star Wars. And you know what? I'm not going to take anything away from FIFA because that's amazing. But again, I'm going to agree with Gaz there. Underwhelming. I liked it. I had a lot of fun watching it. I'm glad I watched it. But it's almost like a thing like, oh well, okay, see you next year. What you got next?
Exactly. Yeah. Closing thoughts, Binary?
For me, EA, you are one of the biggest developers in the world.
You had your main stage, and it was boring.
I love you, bro. I
Say
love
it like
you,
it
bro.
is, son.
I love you, man. That's why I like this guy.
It was. Do you know what? Yeah. You Battlefield 1 at the end saved the day.
Yes.
For me.
Yes, it did. Yes. And the whole thing, again, bringing those guys in and then letting them play it for an hour with those other guys was really their saving grace. And I got to tell you, as a big company, you know what? They probably knew that. They know what's going on. Hopefully, they bring it to us within a relative time.
Well, look, there you have it, guys. Titanfall 2, Mass Effect Andromeda,
Yeah.
Star Wars, Battlefield 1, probably our picks of the conversation from the EA conference. A little bit underwhelming. I think we're anticipating the games, we're excited, but more importantly, let's move on so we can see where we're heading next, because Bethesda appeared very shortly after.